Joining me today, I have what many people know as Professor Popsicle, although his name is Gordon Giesbrecht. Recently, you retired from the official position of professor at the University of Manitoba in the Faculty of Kinesiology and Recreation Management. Thank you so much for joining me today, Gordon.
Well, thanks for having me on, Sylvia. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. First and foremost, a very happy retirement to you. How are you feeling about that?
Well, I've actually been very busy since I retired, so I haven't really had a chance to for it to really sink in. But it's very interesting. I'm still getting up early, and my day is full. But it's there is a bit of a light feeling, and I don't have to teach. I don't have any committee work to do, and all the deadlines I have are self-imposed now.
Nice. Right on. So, like I was talking about, Professor Popsicle, you have made a name for yourself, diving into cold water, helping people know how to get out of vehicles that are submerged in freezing cold water. I would love to know, are there any like real standout memories or times over the years with that?
Well, as far as a research perspective goes, the firsts are important. My first hypothermia trial I did on myself, and uh, well, one of them was the coldest, the lowest core temperature that anyone has ever been taken down to in an ethically approved study, down to 32 degrees. And I actually forget parts of that experiment because I was so cold. So that was interesting. And when I was in Alaska, we did our first vehicle submersion trial, and we thought we understood the physics of it all. And I expected that once the water hit a certain level, I'd be able to open the door. And as it turned out, I learned a lot of things. I had two scuba tanks, front and back seat, so I was safe if I couldn't get out, and I couldn't get out. And I just thinking, I'm supposed to be able to get out right now, and it's not working. And so finally did get out without having to resort to using the scuba tanks, but we learned an awful lot that day, and that's help inform what we teach people about what to do if your vehicle ever ends up in water.
Absolutely. I would love to know. I don't know the answer, so a little risky asking this, but has anyone ever informed you, or have you heard of somebody who said, you know what, you said this one thing and it ended up helping me incredibly?
Well, we know that both in the hypothermia avoidance and treatment area of research and the vehicle submersion research, both of those we've got documented cases of where it has actually saved lives. I've had a handful of people say, "Hey, you saved my life," which is kind of gratifying, including in front of Toronto City Hall. We were doing a demonstration for something, and I was walking along, and all of a sudden, someone yelled out, "Hey, Dr. Giesbrecht, you saved my life," which is really gratifying. And so obviously I stopped, and we talked about the situation, and yeah, so it's been very fortunate to have done work over the last, third of a century that has actually led to things that immediately practically help the general public or professionals. And it's kind of when I started, I thought, oh, if we could just, I'm going to publish papers and stuff, but if we could do stuff that would sort of last beyond when I retired and actually do some tangible good right away, uh, that's kind of a dream, eh? And been very fortunate that the work has worked out that way.
How gratifying. It must make being so cold a little bit worth it then.
Yeah. Well, I practice the Christmas spirit now. It's much better to give than to receive. I haven't made myself cold for quite a while. I just watch other people do it, give them instructions, and that's it. I have been hypothermic 40 times. So that
Oh,
might be I think it's probably a record, but it would take too much grief to try and document that for the Guinness Book of Records. But
yeah. Well, we'll just use that temporarily then. Professor Popsicle, that's such a great nickname. Was that you who gave that to yourself, or did that come about in a different way?
no, Outside Magazine did a feature article on me in 2003, And interesting, I was anxiously waiting for the thing to come out, and I would kind of walk by the newsstands when we had newsstands, walking by every day to see if the new edition was out. And it actually, I didn't see it till I was going from one plane to another in the airport in Minneapolis, and I saw there was a new one, and I went and grabbed it and opened it up, and it said "Meet Professor Popsicle." So that's the first I ever saw or heard of it, and yeah, I had a choice. I kind of could have put a quash that early on, and I thought, I'm going to let that go. I think it's pretty cool, and a lot of people don't know my name; they just know me as Professor Popsicle. So
It is
it's easier.
definitely
It's
stuck.
easier to remember. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So officially, I know you're still definitely doing some things at the University of Manitoba, but officially you retired January 1st, 2024. Huge congrats. Any plans in these next couple years? And are you sticking away from cold or yeah, what does that look like?
Well, I was actually in the coldest freezer in the world. I think last week in Denver, I'm working with a group doing some research on medical combat medics providing medical care in a cold environment. The freezer, there's two freezers. One's -34 and one's -26. So it was still, but I didn't spend huge amounts of time in there. I watched from outside the window. But so I've got a number of projects that I have to write up. I have told people that, I've always said most of our work is funded by taxpayers' dollars, and so it's up to us to make sure we finish the projects and get them written up so the information's out there. So I have a position, a no salary part-time position now as a senior scholar at the university, which allows me office space. And I still, kind of keep my hand in this on a part-time basis till I run out of things to do. I don't know when that'll be. But in the meantime, we're going to try and build up the amount of time we spend doing missions work or humanitarian work. I've done about 5 missions trips in the last 2 years, and I'd like to do that certainly at least once, if not multiple times every year, as well as volunteering here in Winnipeg. So trying to do some things ministry-wise, locally and internationally over the next few years.